Friends, war continues in Ukraine, 23rd day today, and there have been some changes compared to the previous day. But these changes are small on the ground, and as well as if we look at it politically, geopolitically as well. More than 3 million refugees seems to have gone out as per the UN, and in the meantime the orders passed by ICJ asking Russia to immediately cease fire in Ukraine has been refused by Russia, and there have been some talks between Ukraine and Russia in which 9 more human corridors have been accepted. On political front, there have been rallies world over, in bits and pieces, not major ones, in support of Russia, like in Bulgaria, Caracas, Venezuela, that is, Islamabad even. China opposes, it has opposed sanction against Russia, and especially quoting that this is destabilizing world market. In the meantime, there has been another survey among the Russians in which 58% have supported war. Russian war in Ukraine. That means they haven't been so crazy as that in European countries and Western countries. Why? Because 48% have said no to war. Social media is more active, creating more poison through Western media than what is happening in Russia. Like in Ukrainian TV, prime time, host quoted Adolf Eichmann, a hardcore Nazi, as a role model and asked people to kill Russians, including their children. Look at that. Well, after American-Chinese talks failed, Biden is likely to talk or might have already talked with Xi, Chinese premier, and asked him to not help Russia militarily, economically, or anything. Otherwise, China will have to face consequences. That is happening. But what is happening behind the curtain, it is not known. The trade war was at high level just before this war, present military war between China and US. So what sorts of blackmail as well as bribes are being given by the Americans is not known, or what sort of concessions that Chinese are asking is not known. There are many. Chinese have huge investment in European Union. They are the number one partner as far as European Union is concerned. Similarly, like in Africa, Ukraine, yes, they have huge investment. UK, US, and of course BRI. In fact, the inter-imperialist contradiction is deeper between US and allies vis-a-vis Chinese finance capital. Well, that is a different matter. We'll talk about that later. The Chinese also must be asking that you stop your propaganda against Hong Kong, Uyghur, on human rights violation, etc. Well, coming on economic fronts, few points as far as sanction and other things are concerned. They are old and nothing new now. But what Russia claims that it has avoided default on sovereign debt payment. $40 billion it has paid. Well, how it has done, and not that you got to find out. In the meantime, German Chancellor has said that it is moving away from the dependency on Russian energy. And of course, Russian government is mulling over trying its best on self-reliance or maximum taking helps within its own close associates like CIA, CSTO, China, etc. But by the way, this is not moving towards socialism. Be sure of that. As far as military is concerned, MOD, Ministry of Defense of Russia, has claimed, this is of yesterday's news, that they have shot down or destroyed Ukrainian aircraft, helicopters, approximately 200, UAVs more than 170s, anti-aircraft missile system 170, that is used based on the ground. Tanks, armored vehicles close to 1400, that's again is used. Multiple launch rocket system more than 100, field artillery guns more than 500, and military vehicles approximately 1200. This is also used. This cripples the Ukrainian army units, battalions, and even brigade levels. Now coming to some specific reasons, Mariupol Chechen fighters are amassing. They had given warning 2 days back only that if Ukrainians do not surrender by the evening, they will attack, but then nothing has happened so far concretely. The movement is on with the help of DPR militia as well as Russian military. And of course, they claim very proudly that trophy NATO weapons, that means the weapons seized from the Ukrainians, which were supplied by NATO and US Army or US country as such, and being used by Chechens, by DPR, LPR militia. They call it trophy. And that is being used by them. In the meantime, US has claimed that Russians have used more than 1,000 missiles in Ukraine since the war started. Now coming to Odisha, that is under attack, particular specific military points by the Russian Navy as well. Russian Navy role was limited. In the meantime, the Russian Air Force or Russian Aerospace Forces roles have increased. In West Ukraine, military convoys, arms, ammunition, and foreign missionaries, wherever they are able to locate in real time, they are trying to destroy them through their long-range missiles. And of course, interdictions, air interdictions. Advances have been limited, but however, in South Ukraine, Mykolaiv, that is towards Odisha, between Mariupol and Kherson, the DPR is moving, and LPR towards Kharkiv. This has been their movement as last. I mean, the general pictures I am giving. And as far as Kiev is concerned, from north and northwest, and even from Chernihiv side, the Russian military is trying to penetrate, while the Ukrainians' aim is not to let the Russian RT move within its range, about 25 to 30 kilometers of range. So that, because the RT bombarding is quite heavy, quite devastating. Tanks and all that, of course, their range is less, but then devastation is much more. So this is the general situation as of now, friends. Not much of analysis from my side. The world is moving from bad to worse, not only in Ukraine, but the entire world. And the fight between capital and working class is increasing. And intercapital interests is also increasing, which we are seeing in Ukraine. Thank you, friends.